Alright, let's make it interesting, shall we? The final boss, the final one that'll let us get out of training mode. Illidan Storm Rage, and in this case, all gloves are off. This is relatively free flow. Illidan actually has something sort of resembling an AI, and he is essentially your first gear check, if you will, if you were playing an MMO. This fight is totally not fair. Actually, it is fair, but he is definitely throwing everything at you that you've previously encountered in the other tutorials. Taunting, managing minions, managing board control, managing your mana, knowing what to play when. This is not going to be an easy fight if you have never played any kind of collectible card game before.
I don't have any cards that cost 1 mana.
And this will happen to you. Sometimes it will happen to you as late as the 3rd round maybe, depending on what cards you draw. In this case, literally, there are no 1 mana cards available to us. Our hero power is 2 mana. It would take this minion out entirely. Instead, there's nothing we can do. He is going to get a free hit on us. And as you can see, this is the first minion, really, that has the same amount of health as we do. So this will really prepare you for AI mode. It's also the first minion that is equipping a weapon. Weapons, unlike minions, degrade over time. In this case, it's the number at the lower right. Once it has taken enough damage, or being used enough times, the weapon essentially breaks and it's no longer available to you. To get a weapon, it can either be, in the case of the rogue, a hero ability that'll equip it. In most other cases, it's a card. Some heroes do not have weapons at all. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I will probably go ahead and play this minion now rather than using my hero power to attack him, giving him the option to attack my minion, which will destroy this one. We'll see what he does, if he goes for my hero or if he keeps trying to clear the board. Oh, very well played. What you did see here, though, is if the hero attacks a minion, the hero does take damage. So in a way, we were able to get some damage on the board. We have a couple of options now. We can either try to clear the board, or we can try to do damage. So possibilities for us are to play the charge card, clear him out, or play this minion, which will restore some health, can't attack, but will restore health now, which is what the battle cry means, giving us a little bit more up to speed, up to the level of Illidan. And as a 1 mana card, it still leaves us 2 mana here, enough to destroy this minion. And that is my play this round. Regaining board control. He's playing another weapon card, which he can use right away. So the question is, will he attack me or my minion? He attacks my minion. So that takes my minion out, but I was still able to do damage to him.
His hero power, it's so strong.
It is indeed strong. There is no other minion, no other hero like it that can summon 2 minions at once. So they will do 2 damage each, plus he has the sword doing damage. I think in this case I will throw up my minion, which would not survive if he attacks with all phases, but it will clear the board out. Both minions will grind itself up against this one. The weapon isn't strong enough to take him out completely by itself, but at 3 damage, if this is what he chooses to do and doesn't use any other cards at his disposal that might help him with this minion, my 3 damage would be dealt against the hero, and that ultimately helps me. Let's see what he does. If he's going to do a spell. Oh, that's interesting. I thought he would have worked on my minion first. That would have been my choice. So he's going to be losing his weapon, dealing damage to himself, and losing all the minions on the board. Again, I have a couple of options here. I think what I'm going to choose is bringing a small taunt minion up, but also pairing that with a charge minion, which will be protected next turn by this minion. But the charge allows me to immediately keep putting pressure on him. And it gives me 2 minions on the board. So he's playing another weapon.
The power of the demon within.
It does take out my minion because it is a 4 damage attack, but he did take damage by doing that, and he wasted a fairly potent amount of damage on a very low cost minion. This one is a high damage card, but doesn't have a lot of life, so without the protection of a taunt minion, probably not a good play right now. This one is probably a better bet, or this one. At this point, I think I will choose the Nightblade. It has a little bit more survivability than this one. Deals a little bit less damage, but it still has a battlecry ability that will do damage now. And leave me with board control, and leave him with the decision to take out my minion or continue to deal damage to me. Okay, he's choosing to take him out. That eats up his weapon, but he did receive damage from this. So now we have a couple of choices to make. We need to try to regain board control. This is a great spell to deal right now, because dealing 1 damage to all minions will remove these 2 for relatively low cost. And will deal damage to him. At this point, again, I can play this card, but it's easily taken out at 1 life. I do need the taunt card to keep protecting this card. And because this card does not have taunt, I do not have to worry about it in terms of not being able to attack Illidan right away. I will leave the minion standing. It needs to attack mine and won't be able to take it out entirely by itself because the damage isn't high enough compared to my life points. This minion would stay alive, but with only 1 health point. Instead, I keep putting pressure on my opponent. Let's see how he decides to proceed. I'll randomize the spell. Alright, his minion had health ability. So, this gives me a couple of options. A very large minion to play, or I can play a lower damage minion. He has 5 charge. I have 3 charge. Combined 8 charge plus damage gets him down to 9. That is probably the decision I will make, because in the next round, regardless of what he does, my 1 unblockable hero power would then take him down. He currently only has 8 damage on the board. I have 15. It's doubtful that he'll have enough in his cards to finish him off, so I will keep putting pressure on him, ignoring the minions for now. So even if they attack mine, it doesn't matter in the end. They will ground itself up, trying to get past me or doing damage to me. He's down to 1 health point. I can finish him off in the next round. But let's see what his answer to that is. He will try to add summon more minions. He's trying to clear the board. But again, all of these minions, as you can see, are unable to attack this round. And at this point, I can play this card. It's not really necessary, but for argument's sake, let's make the board look nicer, a little bit more impressive. But it wasn't really necessary. I now have 1 damage I can deal. I can choose to take out this minion, but instead let's end the match. And we are done with training mode. And that's it. We're now ready to face the real game.
I cannot believe it. You and your
And we
mate
have
deck are
unlocked the basic
unstoppable.
cards for the mage, which are the tools we will need to take on the next level in Hearthstone.
You can unlock new heroes in practice mode.
And this is what is now open to us. We cannot yet enter the arena. We can go directly into play mode if we so choose, but we would only be able to do that with the one unlocked hero that we have, which is the mage. To proceed now, we can go into basic practice mode, which means we would play against a computer. And we would choose the only one that's available to us, our mage, and try to take on any of these other heroes. Once they have been defeated just once, they become available to us. You will be unlocking the cards that you need by leveling each one of them from level 1 to level 10. Once you have done that, your basic card deck is complete, and at that point it's quite feasible that you can take on another opponent in regular game mode, in live mode, in player versus player, and you will have a good chance of succeeding. At this point we will leave training mode, because this is at the stage where you will be required to start with the mage first, but it's a very flexible deck with a lot of protective spells like polymorph to take on larger minions. The basic additional cards like the Sinjin Shield Master will give you some taunt options. It will give you some card draw options, and it's really a very versatile deck that'll get you far, especially in AI. I suggest after you've done unlocking these, if you're not comfortable going into player versus player mode, once they're unlocked you have the option of going from normal to expert, which lets all of these other heroes play with more of an expert deck. So that'll give you some additional practice. But at this point, you are ready to go and ready to experience Hearthstone. I hope you appreciated these tutorials. I hope they helped you get past a couple of roadblocks if you had any. But continue to check out the resources on our site at HearthPro for the HearthPro podcast, or at hearthstone.blizspro.com, where we keep all of our information ready for you. Good luck and have fun with Hearthstone.